From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is the Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, ABC's chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, with Gina on news and Bald Brian on sound effects. And now, your mileage may vary, but his never does. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get on the mandate. You get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We'd love that about you, right, Gina
That's right.
Handball, Brian. I like ear fucking. Dan Abrams going to join us. We'll talk. I have a hypothetical Fauci conspiracy theory to play for him, and we can get his take. I also know that he used to mix it up with Nancy Grace. Back in the day on Court TV, so we can maybe have a little revisiting of that.
I would love to do that. I go to sleep every night thinking about that man and thinking about the things I would have loved to have said to him. So bring it on, ladies. Wham, wham.
Nancy's vengeance.
Yeah, well, you're going to get your chance, Nancy.
Oh, good.
Now, just a quick audible. Dawson was pulling in. It was kind of funny because I was walking to the other warehouse. So we finally got the high-speed internet guy here.
The good stuff.
And
He's doing work.
A lot of work. I mean, there is bending of rebar, there's pulling of wires, there's cutting and coring, there's scissor lifts to the roof.
Oh,
this
sexy.
is a big old job. And so we got a guy here. He's doing that. Now he drives a big rig, big truck, parked right in the middle of the driveway, so people have been parking in alternate universes. So I just parked at the other shop. I was over there anyway. I was walking to the other shop. I saw Dawson parking on the street. Dawson had street parking.
I was on the street.
And I said, smart. Let's not go over here and mix it up. We got a guy with a big truck. Dawson's driving a big truck.
It's true.
Smart just to leave it half a block away on the street.
Should have just left it.
And then I turned around and I was walking back and I saw Dawson's truck wedged in between the guy's truck and the gate.
Oh, the bird in the hand.
Yeah. Now, and then one side of the truck seemed to be a little lower than the other side of the truck. So that suggested to me that either he had a flat or he's back with the fat chicks. Or both.
I wish.
Maybe that's what gave him the flat. So Dawson was trying to kind of cut the corner and get into the parking lot and had a bracket from the gate just catch the sidewall of his truck and just tore it up.
That bracket has caused multiple flats.
It out.
Yeah. So, Dawson, you were safely and legally parked 100 yards away, maybe 80 yards away.
Got greedy.
What happened?
I
Icarus.
still had plenty of time before the show. Our man working was about to get out of here. And I'm like, yeah, I got time. I'll just go move my truck in and, fit it in.
At
I just
a prime spot.
I know.
150 feet away.
I know. It's fucking stupid. I'm so mad at myself right now.
Good, as long as you're kicking yourself. All right, so then a couple of questions arose because Dawson's got to come in here and start the show, but he's got a truck out there with a flat tire. So then the question is who here is most qualified to change Dawson's truck tire?
Oh, boy.
Under this roof?
Well,
you.
me, but who is not occupied currently could do that.
Good luck.
I heard a perfect answer from intern Ryan, who said he thinks he could do it because he saw a YouTube video.
Okay, hey,
on it.
That's a step in the right direction. That's towards the light.
Step toward the light. What else? What other options do we have, Chris?
So Ryan said he's done it once. He saw a YouTube video that helped him when he did it. Emmy walked away.
Emmy from New York, probably hasn't driven a car until he was 22 years old.
Gary says he is capable of doing it, but he's too busy.
Good answer.
Good.
Smart.
Too busy lying. And so,
honestly, the guy doing the internet is probably the most qualified guy.
Actually, the guy doing the internet right now is going through my truck looking for a jack. He's got the impact gun, and he's just going to do it for me. I could do it myself.
I know.
I changed my last one.
Well, why don't you have the internet guy come do your job? And
That's
see
a
what
great
happens?
idea.
I'm guessing Dawson's got himself a nice scissor jack in there. I'm guessing. Kalen says he can't do it. No surprise there.
What about Matt?
Matt, the porcelain Punisher.
Yeah.
Come on.
remember that picture of him in the Simpsons jammies?
Oh yeah, basically like in a Simpsons museum. His bedroom.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
So Dawson's running out there to grab the scissor jack, and we'll do it during the body of the show. But I thought to myself, most everyone's got a good flat tire story.
Oh yeah.
I think I have the ultimate flat tire story because I got a flat tire and ended up sleeping by the side of a freeway and had no spare. But
you probably win.
That's a Tijuana story. I can get into that. So I said, Gina Ball, you got a flat tire story, and then I said, put it up to the people. Give us your flat tire story.
Right.
You want to go first,
Yeah,
Gina?
I got 1.5. This actually made me late to this here show. It was on a Sunday. 2 years ago, I was driving down from Big Bear trying to get here in time and hit something, and that cross-track went a flapping and a flying. And I was in the middle of nowhere and had to deal with it. It was like an hour late to the show. But that's not the one that really sticks in my mind. Let me
say this philosophically.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in the human condition. The spare tire is an interesting peek into the psyche of the human.
Sure.
Which is everybody knows you're going to get a flat at some point in your driving career, multiple flats. Yes. Maybe you average one every 6 years or something like that. We all know it. We all know that we have a spare and a jack and a lug wrench that's on most vehicles. Most all vehicles. Some have a weird little pump thing, which sports cars have. I don't understand because Dawson just got a sidewall torn off.
Yeah.
You think you get a little pump you plug into your cigarette lighter and fix that bad boy?
Better.
Not with that one, no.
Not for that one. So
I do have one of those, though, and it comes in handy.
But way less than 10% of Americans have ever investigated what's the junk in the trunk. Like, here's the here's the jack. Is it a scissor jack? Is it a bottle jack? Where would I place it? It's inevitably going to be dark and raining, and you may be a little bit drunk when this shit goes down. Oftentimes.
Why don't we learn this in driver's ed?
I don't know. No one ever.
It's
always a brand new day. You get a flat tire, and it's like, do you have a spare? I don't know. Is there air in it? I got to check. Where's the jack? I guess it's where the tire is.
No, what's the jack?
Yeah, what's the jack? We all know it's going to happen. It's a human condition thing. No one takes 5 minutes and goes, well, let me coach myself up a little.
You're right. That's true. And by the way, I found out that in a sleepy town just outside of Big Bear, when 3 decent looking chicks are waving for help, people just pass you by. So we weren't as hot as we thought we were. But when I first moved here, I was living in Echo Park in a studio where there were roosters and chickens all over the street, and I'd have to shoo them out of the way to get to my door. Gangbangers always put their big gulp Slurpees on my car. I'd have to ask them nicely to please move them so I could get in my car. Multiple cats gave birth on my doorstep. The cops would try and escort me home, and I'd shoo them away because I didn't want to get mixed
Jewish
up.
neighborhood,
Very.
Fairfax?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is Hasidic.
Yes.
And so I was driving home from, I don't know, maybe the state, maybe KLSX one night, and it was late, and I felt like a ka-chunk, and I pulled over, and I was talking to my boyfriend at the time, and I said, oh, good news, there's a car pulling up behind me, and they put their flashers on. And he was like, Gina, don't you fucking open the door, don't you roll down the window. I was like, he seems nice enough. So this big dude comes up. He's like, oh, it looks like you have some tire trouble. And Michael is on the phone going, don't talk to this fucking guy. I was like, you're not here, and he is. So against all my better judgment and my boyfriend's better judgment, I get out of the car. This dude is eyeing me up and down. He's like, oh, can I look in the trunk? I was like, yeah, I opened it. And I have a real bad feeling about this. This dude's staring at me, looking at me more than he's trying to, he's kind of like with the arm kind of going in and out of the trunk, like pretending like he's looking for it, but he's staring at me. And I finally thought, yeah, this is bad. And I said, you know what? I'm good. I got back. He's like, you sure? And he follows me until about a block from my apartment. And I just sort of ka-chunked it all the way home, hoping to lose this guy. So I really should know how to change a tire. Is my point.
Slow speed chase.
The slowest speed chase.
Brian, you got a tire story?
Some similar elements as Gina. I was on the way to work, and this time it was actually raining. It was a rainy day, and I was coming up the 405 north, down the hill, about to get on the 101 towards the studio, and it's raining, right? So the visibility is lower than it would be, and I ran over something. I don't even know what it was to this day, but it was something, bumper or fenders. It was huge, but I couldn't see it till the last minute. And instantly, I think I was driving an X3 at the time. Instantly, all four tires, sensors all lit up. Tire sensor, tire alert, critical tire. And I'm like, oh shit. But because I was, as you know, 3/4 of a mile from Galpin Ford, where I got the BMW. I pulled right in. I was like, dude, you got to do something. I'm getting all 4 tire alerts. You got to help. And they replaced, I think, 2 of them, and 2 they could fix because they were run flats. But I limped into Galpin Ford, which was just less than a mile away.
You got lucky.
I did. Really lucky.
Bunch of bad tire stories, but the most famous one was definitely about this time when I was 19, and me and my buddy Snake said, once in a while we'd tell everyone, we're going to Tijuana. We're going to Tijuana tomorrow. And if everyone didn't join us, we just called them pussies. And so we're like, we're going to Tijuana. And I told all the usual suspects, and everyone just kind of bugged out. So it was just me and Snake. And I said, all right, we'll go to Tijuana. How are we getting there? His stepmom had an old Mazda sedan, very old. 4 bald tires, 4 tires showing belt on them, all bald and no spare. And we're like, damn the torpedoes, we're going anyway.
Smart.
And we took off for Tijuana, got a late start, got a blowout on the freeway about San Juan Capistrano, knew we had no spare, and knew we were going to have to purchase a used tire at the gas station, but the gas station was closed.
The gas station sells used tires?
Gas
do.
stations
Never heard of
used to do that. What they would do is they'd probably bring you in for your brake job. Then they'd tell you that your tire's looking pretty bad,
Sure.
and then they'd charge you and do the tires, and then they would keep the old tires, and then they would just sell the right size for $11 or something. But there was no chance of getting a tire that night. There was no credit cards. There was no cell phones. There was no AAA. There's no anything. But there was the blanket I had in the back. Not a sleeping bag. Just a blanket and a pillow. Same one I would just took it off my bed.
Sure.
We didn't have extra blankets at my blanket.
You and Snake cuddled up together?
Snake had his pillow and his blanket. Well, the pillow and the blanket was for sleeping on the beach in Tijuana.
Always thinking.
Always thinking. So left the car on the side of the freeway and just walked down that freeway off-ramp, just in the middle of, we had no idea where we were. Seemed about San Juan Capistrano. We were about 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way there. And then once we walked down the freeway, we just started walking toward the beach.
Walk west, young man.
And found this patch of grass in this residential neighborhood, and it had a big wooden sign like "Welcome to Leo Carrillo" or "Welcome to whatever."
You're home.
I'm trying to think where
Not Leo Carrillo.
Nixon's house out there.
Oh, Yorba Linda.
Yeah, but what was his beach? He had a beach out there. It's a Nixon thing. God damn, the train used to go out there. We'll think of Dawson. You'll think of it. Where'd the train go to the beach? No, God damn it.
San Clemente?
San Clemente, yeah, it's a San Clemente thing. And found this sign, and it looked like it offered not shelter protection, but visual protection from people walking down the street and driving their cars and stuff. I just spread the blanket out on the dirt, put the pillow down.
30 years later, you don't know how common that would be.
Just went to sleep. My recollection was I got a good night's sleep. I'm not a good
urban camper.
I'm not a good sleeper, but I got a good night in. And the next day, we packed up our blankets. We walked back up to the car and pulled the tire off and walked to the gas station and bought a used tire and
continued on your way.
We're on our way.
Look at you.
Oh yes, we slept in Tijuana that night.
Can't be deterred.
Could not be deterred. I was there to sleep on the beach in Tijuana, and that's what we did.
You did it.
Mm-hmm. So kids, if you're listening.
Yeah.
So Dawson, there's hope for you.
There's hope.
Yeah. I got one good one. When I was in college, I was dating a girl who also lived in the Bay Area, and I hitched a ride back home for Thanksgiving with her. And rainy night, it's like 9 o'clock at night, 101, 2 lanes in one direction, not much of a shoulder. She blows out a tire, pull over. I immediately get out of the car. You got a jack? Where's your spare? I changed her tire. And then I drove the rest of the way home, and her father met us at the door, shook my hand.
Oh, really?
And said, I'm glad you were there, pal.
Wow.
Old timey.
It's good.
I don't know. I feel like she may have been a keeper, Dawson.
I tried.
You let her go.
Only got away.
All right. I was studying the Mexican flag. I think it's the Mexican flag.
That's important.
Could have been the Guatemalan flag. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff. Kamala's gone to the border and blah, blah, blah. But I was taking a good look at the Mexican flag, and I was like, that's a pretty aggressive flag.
Pretty sure it's Mexico.
You got an eagle. He's eating a snake.
He's choking the life out of it.
Like
yeah.
he is on the move. You know, we got the stars and the bars.
That's a rattlesnake. Look at the back.
Yeah.
Got the
It's got an eagle. It's kicking the shit out of a rattlesnake. I wonder, though, I don't know. We should try to figure a lot of range in flags, but this is on brand with Mexico. You know what I mean? Like France is just like 3 stripes, you know,
Japan.
not much to see. Japan.
One single dot.
Well, think about Japan's sort of the way they do things. You know,
Subdued.
the low profile,
Yeah.
keeping it clean.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They got this eagle. I'm guessing it's an eagle. I also noticed it's standing on cacti.
Yeah.
It's a badass eagle.
1 foot.
It's not bothered by cactus.
Pain don't hurt.
Cactus got the cactus berries
Yeah.
going
It's a
strong on it.
flowering cactus.
He's kicking the shit out of a rattlesnake, and you're right. It's got the rattle on the bottom of it. And then there's something under that. I don't know what it is, a belt buckle
Yeah.
or something.
It's like a gold bar of some.
What is it?
Is that a spilled bottle of mezcal?
What does, I think it may be a gardener's truck but from a bird's eye view. Now, I guess Mexico is represented by the eagle, but the snake's Mexican too, unless he got it from Canada or the United States.
Flew over the border with it.
he's kicking the shit out of that, and then there's like a wreath of plants that are underneath that.
It's garland.
Yeah.
And then there's a
mistletoe.
kind of red, white, and blue little pin or badge or something that's on the bottom, a ribbon. What is he standing on?
The cactus is situated on a rock that rises above a lake.
Oh, so it is water. It is
Okay.
liquid.
Oh, it is. All right. Well, anyway. Hey, Mexico, that's a pretty kick-ass flag you got
You got a lot
there.
of detail going on.
Yeah.
But you got to back that up. You know, you can't be all bark and no bite with a flag like that.
Yeah, I agree. And it says you mean business.
Yeah.
And I don't see that flag tattooed on enough Mexicans.
Oh.
That's intricate.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a drunken evening. That you got to plan that shit out. That's a few sessions.
Yeah, but being drunk helps.
That's true. Oh,
but,
for sure.
But I agree. All right. And then I was talking to Stromer today, and remember that saying, that guy's not fit to carry my jock?
Sure. Yeah.
I think it should be modified.
Okay.
Yeah, I do this with shit rolling downhill
Right.
and lots of stuff.
Buy
that
and sell you.
Shit where you eat and buy and sell and all that kind of stuff. I'd like, if you say he's not fit to carry your jock, then there'll be no jock being carried.
Yeah. He's only fit to carry.
I would say he's fit to carry my jock.
Yeah.
Guys don't wear jocks anymore,
Right.
which is interesting. But I would modify it to he must carry my jock, or
Yeah.
he's fit to carry my jock. Who can't carry a jock? And by the way, isn't it more demeaning when you enter the gym to be the guy who's toting the star's
right.
jock?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all he's good for.
the jock toter.
Carrying the jock.
Yeah, I think we screw that up a little bit, like when we go, I could care less.
That
We
one's very, yeah.
We fucked that one up a little
That's
bit,
always
too.
fucked up.
I think we should
I couldn't care less.
straighten that one out, and the keeper, the jock, as well.
Wait, guys don't wear jock straps anymore?
No.
Why not?
Not nearly as much as they used
What do
to.
they do?
They wear the kind of undershorts, like kind of the bike
Compression
shorts.
shorts.
Oh.
With like a pocket there for the cup if you choose to wear it. Which a lot of guys don't do anymore.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't wear a cup?
No.
I
Nobody,
remember-
A catcher will wear a cup.
Oh,
nobody in the
wow.
NFL wears a cup anymore.
I remember when my brother's football team was playing, and the boys would come over afterwards and all sweaty and disgusting. One kid would always take his cup and like rub it really hard on his face because it would make a noise.
Yeah.
And it was pretty horrible.
The cup was molded exactly after the oxygen mask.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So there's no way 11-year-old boys are going to miss
stick that on their
joke
face.
when you're breathing into the oxygen
But
mask.
who's the joke on?
We had, before every Pop Warner football game I ever played, you'd have to weigh in.
Mm-hmm.
And once you weighed in.
Wait, on Pop Warner?
Yeah, because they separate you by weight class. You don't
Oh,
kill some
not
kid.
by grade level.
Yeah, they have weight divisions. So they would weigh you in.
Mm-hmm.
And they would, I think Sarah Silverman did a jag about transgendered athletes a few weeks ago, but she did this whole thing about there's no big and small. They play together or whatever. And it's like, nah, there's 1,000 different weight divisions.
Wrestling is exclusively that.
Yeah, that's how sports work.
Right.
They want that parity. They don't want the 200-pounders playing with the 110-pounders. So they would weigh you in, and they would weigh you in, and then when you're done weighing in, you'd line up all the way along the wall. It was always in front of the high school gym. They'd bring the scale outside.
Oh, wow.
And they
This
wouldn't.
is my worst fear for a Weight Watchers meeting.
They would not.
It's like the stocks.
They wouldn't weigh you. They would just put the scale on 123 pounds, which was the top of the Pee Wee division.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
if you tip the scale.
everyone just walk across
Right.
it. But if you walked across it and it started moving
Pinged.
too much,
Yeah.
then you didn't make weight. If you didn't make weight, you had to turn your jersey inside out.
Oh, how
To
shaming.
denote.
Yeah, they need to know you didn't make your
So
weight.
what do you
You'd
do
pull
that
out.
day?
You'd sit on the bench with an inside-out jersey. That's how they do it. But they would line you up, and I remember, and then the ref would just walk past everyone, and you go, mouthpiece, and everyone would hold their mouthpiece out, and then they'd look at you, thigh pads. All right, everyone. Thigh pads, and everyone would just bang on their thigh pads, and they go knee pads, and everyone would bang on their knee pads, and then they go cups, and everyone would knock with one knuckle, and you hear this weird sound of 31
Little boys thumbing their
11-year-olds
cups.
just knock, 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 knock.
Tick, tick.
Yeah,
That's why I got to wear number 88. With turn the jersey inside
Right.
out, they have no idea.
Brian's
Get in
right.
the game.
That's right. Also, we would. I remember the very first time they gave us our uniforms when I was 7. We're at the Studio City Park over here, and they just gave everyone their uniforms, and they're like, here's all your stuff. Go in the bathroom and change. And no 7-year-old had any idea what to do with the girdle.
Sure.
The thing called a girdle.
Right.
Had a butt pad in it,
yeah.
side pads, and
Sure.
a cup, and the
For drag,
pants,
yeah.
and no one knew where anything went. Everyone just came out like a mess.
Because it had the hip pad and the pocket for the hip pads,
Right.
and then it had like a tailbone pad. Did you have a tailbone pad?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
They don't have that anymore. But.
No,
They just
every-
assumed y'all would figure this out. You couldn't even tie your shoes.
I guess it was assume versus 51-year-old guy go in there with a bunch of 7-year-olds
Dressing
and
them
tell
all.
everyone to drop their pants, and start fiddling around with their girdle. I think they said, you know what, go ahead and figure this one out.
It's a liability.
If it doesn't work, like if you come walking out and there's a tampon in your eye, we'll give you some tutelage,
Right.
but we're not getting our hands dirty.
I see.
All right. Something I was playing with Drew, and I was curious about this because we're talking about the head of the CDC, Rochelle Walensky, and she was talking about how much her 16, maybe now 17-year-old son looked forward to going to camp, so much so that the day he got home from camp, he would start Xing out the days.
Doing tallies.
Till he went again, and then went on to say she's pulled him out.
Yeah.
This year. So here's the question, and I don't know if we can find an answer. We have a couple of clips, do we not? I'm looking at Max Pata here.
Footnote: is any human being not depicted in film or television ever X'd out days on a calendar?
They always do. It never happens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm saying it's only depicted in film and television. Anyone not do that? I mean, not in film and television actually do that?
No, I mean, maybe in
Maybe
prison.
a prisoner.
All right, so we'll play that first clip again, the Are You Letting Your Kid Go to Summer Camp story, which is, I whenever any officials start talking about as a mom or I had a bad feeling or any of that kind of stuff, it always bumps the shit out of me. But I will pose a bigger question. We'll hear the first clip.
With regard to camp, I have a 16-year-old. Every year, he comes home from camp and he writes the number of days until he returns to camp the next year. This year, it got to 0, and I told him he wasn't going. I want our kids back in camp.
Clearly.
We now have 38,000 new infections on average per day. Last May 11th, it was 24,000.
In the sun.
And we sent a lot of kids home, and camps were closed.
Chlorinated pools.
The camp guidance is intended to get our kids to camp and allow them to stay there.
All right. Well, there's a camp guide that's there to get your kids to camp and stay there.
So why can't your kid go?
Your mom's the head of the CDC. And by the way, the fucking Chicken Little shit is so fucking annoying when it comes to policy. Save that shit for the crazy gypsy chicks you drink fucking white wine with. Spare us the fucking my son. All right, but you're not letting your son go.
Right.
And so I said, did her son get vaccinated or not? Because at the time, it had been going on for a number of months. And I think people are a little bit on the fence about the teenagers getting vaccinated. Most doctors are kind of like, I don't know. It's not, maybe.
Risk versus reward.
Everyone's kind of flipping a coin on it. Like, is it worth it?
Exactly.
And so everyone kind of wants to know. Now, she's saying, get your kid vaccinated. But she's also saying, I pulled my son out of camp.
Yeah.
So then I said, did she get vaccinated? So that I found this other clip, and we'll try to figure it out. Is the head of the CDC's teenage son, did he get vaccinated or not? This is a good message to send to the populace would be, I have a son. He's a teenager. He's vaccinated.
Yeah.
He's going to camp. Returning to life. Here we go.
Dr. Walensky, in my last minute here, let me just ask you, the CDC says that while fewer children have been sick with COVID-19 compared to adults, children can be infected, get sick, and spread the virus. With the authorization of Pfizer yesterday for children 12 to 15, what would you say to parents who are considering getting their kids vaccinated now?
I would encourage all parents to get their children vaccinated. I know many parents are enthusiastic and have been texting me, can't wait to get their children vaccinated. I recognize that some parents want to sort of see how it goes first, but I am encouraging all parents to get their children vaccinated. Some parents won't want to be first, but I'm also encouraging children to ask for the vaccine. I have a 16-year-old myself, and I can tell you he wanted to get the vaccine. He wants his life back. These kids want to go back to school. They want to go back to the things they love.
So
he wanted to get it, but he wants to get back to camp.
Right.
But is he, first off, why wouldn't you go, I have a 16-year-old, he's vaccinated.
He's 100% not vaccinated.
Yeah, that's a very inarticulate. I'm hoping he wanted to get vaccinated and then got vaccinated.
No way.
She would do a good job of expressing that.
I would bet everything I own relatively that he is an unvaccinated child. And remember, she used past tense. Like, he wanted to get vaccinated, which is usually followed by a but. I wouldn't let him. I want to see what happens to other kids.
Well, then, first off, all right, you just got done telling everyone enthusiastically to get vaccinated.
Yes.
Teenagers, young people. You then told stories about people asking and stuff, and then you wove your son into the mix.
Shouldn't have done that.
You brought the son up and said he wanted to get vaccinated.
He's not vaccinated.
Well,
it opens up a lot of doubt.
It certainly does because, well, it's two things. It's either he's not vaccinated or she completely screwed the pooch on her example of my son is vaccinated. Yes. He's able to return to do all the stuff he formerly did. I can tell you he's fine. And as a mother and as a physician, I stand by it at 100%. Let's hear the last 15 seconds one time. So I don't think her son is vaccinated.
No, 100% he's not vaccinated.
Well, I'm in the low 90s, but either way, he's not.
She would have
because
opened
she would
with
have
that.
said he's vaccinated. So why isn't the head of the CDC getting her son vaccinated? Or if he is vaccinated, why is she explaining that she pulled him out of camp? He's not going this year. And he wanted to get vaccinated. Why is this the messaging?
The only thing I can think of is he has some sort of private condition that she doesn't want to put on blast, even though she's happy to call him a nerd and say he only thinks of camp 364 days a year. But that's the only thing I can think of, that he is absolutely not vaccinated, and maybe the reason why is private. But then she probably shouldn't have brought him up.
It would be beyond ballsy if she went on and on and on about how important it is for kids, how she wants kids, all kids, every kid should ask. And then, oh, by the way, my kid's not vaccinated. That would be beyond insane.
Well, she kind of said that, but she certainly didn't say he was. It's for someone who is the tip of the spear and the spokesperson for this thing, whether it was 4 months ago about you having a bad feeling about which way the wind was blowing, or your son going to camp and kids getting vaccinated. Get your fucking point together a little bit, would you, bitch? You're the fucking head of the CDC. We were listening to you on all these subjects. Please get on point with your message. All right, sorry, one more. We'll see if we can figure it out.
I recognize that some parents want to sort of see how it goes first, but I am encouraging all parents to get their children vaccinated. Some parents won't want to be first, but I'm also encouraging children to ask for the vaccine. I have a 16-year-old myself, and I can tell you he wanted to get the vaccine. He wants his life back. These kids want to go back to school. They want to go back to the things they love.
So
I think that was a clumsy way of saying, like, if I was like, Christy wanted to get vaccinated, and she did, she just kind of fumbled.
I don't know.
I don't know,
think you tote that out front and center if your kid was vaccinated.
There was a problem. She said he wanted to get vaccinated, which definitely leaves the door open to Brian's theory, which is he wanted to, and we got him vaccinated. But then, so she went from past to,
I know,
then she went to present. He wants to get back to his life, which means he's not back to his life, which means he's not vaccinated.
That was very clumsy either way.
I don't think he's vaccinated.
I don't either.
All right. But you guys, get your kids vaccinated.
And then we'll see.
That's the message. All right. Let's see. We have the game to play. We have blah, blah, blog. And we'll do that right after this.
It's time for Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
You had me, Angelo.
If you said Jerry Maguire,
you had me at hello.
You're correct. Now, back to the show.
Oh, the Ozman shall be missed. All right. We have an intro for blah, blah, blog, the Twitter version?
This is the bio version.
Bio
Twitter
version.
bio.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
It's time for Blah, Blah, Blog. The game where we match the celebrity with their retarded online rant. Let's play. All right, so I will be reading the exact Twitter bio, and then just like the game, I'll give you 3 choices. Actress, activist, troublemaker, fighting for fair pay and passage of the Equal Rights Amendment. Is it Patricia Arquette? Emily Rossum?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Emmy Rossum.
Or Jessica Chastain?
Did you say mother?
No.
Okay.
Can we read that again?
Actress, activist, troublemaker, fighting for fair pay and passage of the Equal Rights Amendment.
By the way, Gina, I don't want to burst your bubble, but it's birthing person.
Oh,
no, I don't
not
think
mother?
it's mother.
I
No,
apologize.
We've moved on to birthing
I will
person.
issue an apology.
Please. Boy. All right. I don't know. Open it to you, Gina. What do you think?
I think Jessica Chastain gets whipped up about a few things, and I think it may mostly have to be with veganism. Emmy Rossum, don't know. I'm going Arquette.
Feels Arquette
Yeah.
to me, but then what's Emmy Rossum doing
I
on
don't
there?
know.
I'm going to strike Chastain from my list just because, like Gina said, well, she's way too mainstream, way too successful. I don't think she sticks her neck out on this. I go Arquette as well.
Feels Arquette.
3 Arquettes.
But I'm going Emmy Rossum.
Oh.
The bio belongs to Patricia Arquette.
All right.
Damn it.
Troublemaker.
God is great. I have a Grammy-winning vagina. Is it Cardi B, Meg the Stallion, or Lil Kim?
Haven't seen Little Kim in a while.
Well, nobody has. She doesn't really look like herself anymore.
That's a
Oh,
good
really?
point, yeah. Someone else's nose.
No.
I'm disappointed in Lil Kim.
Why?
So I told you I had a gay assistant for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Started off pretty good, which was, it started off funny because we were doing the Adam Carolla project.
You still have a gay assistant.
Boom. Danny Two-Sheet said, wouldn't it be funny if we got you this like flamboyantly gay assistant and then he knew nothing about construction, then he'd have to show up to the job and
Right.
get into it with the guys and it'd be awesome. And then at some point the show ended. I was actually thinking about this. I didn't bring it up, but I was thinking about it as we were talking about Neil Diamond playing the Greek Theater.
Uh-huh.
And one of the bits was me and my gay assistant for the show. We're going to go see Tori Amos at the Greek.
Sure.
And I like Tori Amos, but
Not a super fan.
probably would have passed on it. But it was a bit. We're going to go down there and film it. I was going to go talk to Tori Amos and stuff after the show and stuff like that. And with about that morning, it was like, the crew canceled. We're not going to do it. We don't have the budget for it. And I just basically looked at my assistant and went, well, guess that's the end of Tori Amos. And he just like looked at me. I've never seen a man emote so much from his eyes. He's like, so we're not going to Tori Amos? And I was like, well, it was a bit, and we're not doing the bit.
It was a bit?
I planned on going to, and he just looked at me and I went, oh, fuck it. We'll go to see Tori Amos. And we just went, yeah, it's a good
so
show.
nice of you.
Went backstage, hung out.
So you guys went off camera?
Oh, yeah.
I love
we had a
that.
date night.
Oh, I love that.
That was the honeymoon phase.
And let me guess, she encored with Cornflake Girl, Leather.
Yeah, God, it was a good show.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. And then maybe several months later after we stopped filming, there was one point where he said to me, I need to talk to you. And I said, what about? And he said, your attitude.
Oh, boy.
And I said, okay, well, I need to talk to you. I got to fire you. And he was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to fire you. For what? It's like, because I don't need you to talk to me about my attitude. And
maybe he was saying you didn't have enough attitude.
But although he'd do it on the clock, but he used to write letters to Lil Kim in prison. From me.
Were you
On Adam Carolla letterhead?
Were you aware
It's
of
like,
this?
this is Adam Carolla from MTV. I support you strongly, and I'm a big fan, and I'm thinking about you.
You could press charges,
I want to
ironically.
live in a world where Lil Kim to this day loves Adam Carolla because he was the one. The one.
That's
celebrity
the
now.
best way to pick up a fan. Like, yeah, when Tyson was on the outside, every fucking hanger-on
Right.
was there. But the guys
there for him.
who wrote him
Yes.
in prison, those are lifelong
Yeah.
friends. And you guys should know that if any celebrity goes and does a stint for 4 months, write them feverishly about supporting them. They'll forever be indebted. Like, they
That's right.
stood my left. Oh, everyone, my agent cut me loose, my manager, but Adam
guy.
Carolla, he stood up.
How did you find out?
One has
Return
a
to
feeling.
sender.
you get a feeling. I'm pretty intuitive.
Okay.
That's why I reach out to every time I hear anybody who gets cancer, I reach out to him. They're going to do it to be nice?
Right.
You fucking kidding me? It's going to pay off down the road somewhere.
Dividends.
So he wrote Lil Kim on my behalf in prison.
So awesome.
And he
Adam,
told
your penmanship is so wonderful.
yeah, I told him, and I
Grammar.
love that you bedazzled your stationery. I think I just said, I'm like, what are you working on? I was like, I'm writing Lil Kim. I'm like, what are you writing? Oh, no, for you. I'm writing it for you. And bitch got out of the slammer, never contacted me.
Not a word.
We should see, Chris, if Lil Kim remembers me.
Absolutely. We joke, we laugh about it. It's funny, et cetera, et cetera. That's a great initiative for an assistant to take. Just start
Right.
writing letters to celebrities, letters of
Oh,
support.
you'd be
little
best friends
unethical,
with
but yeah.
Martha
Great.
Stewart
Absolutely.
and Tyson
Sure.
and everyone.
Yeah.
Tupac was in. I mean, obviously
Well,
not around now, but anyone's did a stint, write them.
Well, it didn't work out for you.
No.
Maybe work out for somebody else.
No, all right. So vagina.
Grammy-winning vagina.
Okay. Now feels Cardi B because she had the WAP video, right?
That was
But
Cardi
with Megan Thee
and
Stallion.
With Megan.
Yeah.
But Lil Kim, What's she doing on that list? I'm going with the same strategy that failed last time. I'm going Lil' Kim.
Okay, it's got to be either Cardi B or Megan because they had the song, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know which one's more religious because it led it with like God is great or something. I'm going to go coin flip. I'll go Megan Thee Stallion.
It's definitely not Lil' Kim. I would think that since Megan Thee Stallion is slightly less famous than Cardi B, she would have to do a more like bombastic. I have a Grammy-winning vagina, but just to play fair, let's all go different. I go Cardi B.
The bio belongs to Cardi B.
All right. Did
you?
ya?
I thinking. Did Megan get shot in the foot out in front of
Is that a metaphor?
the hotel?
You would know, Mr. TMZ. I
Yeah,
think
I think that's a
something involving
TMZ
a
story.
gun. Yeah, but I don't know if she got shot. I don't know if it was one of her
She
people.
got shot in the hoof.
That's funny.
It's a stallion joke. All right.
Yeah, Sean the Foot.
Actress, producer, director, activist, philanthropist, designer, mom, wife, daughter, sister, aunt, friend, stepmom, human.
Oh, human.
It's important to note.
Is it Eva Longoria,
Oh my God.
Gabrielle Union, or Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Ooh.
It doesn't feel Catherine Zeta-Jonesy to me. But now we're at a tie. I'm going Eva Longoria.
Yeah, she's the only one I know for a fact that is a director and philanthropist for that matter. So I'll go Eva Longoria as well.
I'd like to, but it's not interesting that way. I am going to say Catherine Zeta-Jones.
The blog belongs to Eva Longoria.
Okay.
Yeah, see, you just did what I did the last two.
Well, then we would all go
Why
for
would
Eva
she be on
Longoria.
there? Well, no, that could have been a Gabrielle Union. And
No,
maybe.
it couldn't.
Why
It couldn't,
not?
and I can't say why.
Ooh.
She's not a human.
I can't say why. I probably could say why. She would have mentioned more about herself.
Oh, race? Mm-hmm. Oh, she would have said black woman.
I think so.
Proud black woman. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Especially
That's
with
right.
all the Simon
Yeah.
Cowell stuff.
Yeah, it's true. Good catch.
Thank you.
Racist.
Anti-racist actor.
Oh.
Iowa Hawkeye till I die, one day at a time.
Oh.
Is it Aaron Paul, Tom Arnold, or Lara Flynn Boyle?
Wow, look at the range. I think I know this one. I know
well,
this
go ahead.
one.
Go ahead.
I mean, trust me, as much as I would love for it to be Jesse from Breaking Bad, this has Tom or Arnold all over it. He's from the Midwest. He loves to tell you what he thinks, whether you've asked or not. He'd have to put that in his bio.
Mm-hmm.
The Iowa Hawkeye thing definitely, the first thing I thought of was Tom Arnold, but is that too obvious?
I think it's a red herring.
I know.
Anti-racist actor?
Yes, correct.
So he just plays an anti-racist on TV, or is that really anti-racist? That's what I'm hearing.
It's typecasting.
So this
I
guy's a
specialize
racist.
in anti-racist characters.
Like when a gay guy plays a straight guy, he's not really straight.
Right.
You know, when you need
Exact.
the beat cop in that one
Tired of
scene,
being
is when you need the
typecast.
anti-racist, you go to this guy.
Just trying to think. God. All right, Brian, you go. It reminded me of a Tom
I love
Arnold
the
thought.
randomness of Lara Flynn Boyle. I'm going Lara Flynn Boyle.
Yeah, I've been burned by the randomness many times in this short game, so I'm going Tom Arnold.
The blog belongs to, or the bio belongs to, Tom Arnold.
Yeah,
There you go.
obviously.
I just want to be on an adventure. Is it Channing Tatum, Matthew Perry, or Matthew McConaughey?
Oh, wow.
I'm going Channing Tatum for no good reason.
I'm going McConaughey because that screams McConaughey to me.
I got to get back in this, so I go with Matthew Perry.
The bio belongs to Channing Tatum.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's the score? Now we must be...
Gina and
Pretty close.
Adam are knotted up at 3. Brian one behind at 2.
All right, we're heading into the championship rounds.
Here we go.
An experiment in progress. Is it Lena Dunham,
That's it.
Miley Cyrus, or Edward Norton?
Wow.
An experiment in progress.
Does Lena Dunham have a nose hoop?
Yeah, septum hoop.
Ugh. Such a... Ugh.
Isn't that what they put on cows?
Yes.
Brian, please.
Yes, they do. Hooves and cows. Oh, man. Boy.
This is tough.
This is tough because now we get back to what's Ed Norton doing on there.
Yeah.
I'm going to Ed Norton. I'm getting my vote in first.
Experiment and process. Okay, I gotta guess. I'm going Miley. This is way too short for Lena Dunham, and I'm not buying this Ed Norton thing. I'm going Miley.
Ed Norton could be the red herring out there. I'm going Ed Norton, too.
God damn it.
The bio belongs to Ed Norton.
No, my chance to get back in it.
Mm-hmm.
Actor, producer, inmate, Hollywood prison. Is it Soleil Moon Frye?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Soleil Moon Frye, Charlie Sheen, or Corey Feldman.
Oh, this is good.
I just saw her documentary,
I
Kid
did too.
90.
It's great.
I was featured in that.
It's okay.
Prominently.
Very
Prominently
well, if you're
featured.
feeling nostalgic.
It's very okay.
How dare you?
All right, so we have Soleil.
You didn't like seeing all those before they were stars?
that was
home
the
video?
best part by far.
Okay, inmate in Hollywood prison. It's definitely one of the guys.
I have a guess.
Hold on. Okay, I mean, just go.
It's Feldman for sure.
Inmate Hollywood prison. But
It doesn't feel insane enough. It feels Charlie Sheeny to me.
yeah, Charlie Sheen actually has been working and has been a quote unquote inmate in a Hollywood. Whereas Feldman would do anything to get back in that prison. I'll say Sheen.
Oh, are you going Sheen as well?
Oh, yeah, Sheen, sorry.
I'm sorry. We were discussing the game over here. Will you say your guesses one more time, please?
Sheen, and Feldman.
Feldman for me.
The bio belongs to Sheen.
Damn.
Oh, yeah. Man, I got out of the gate 0 for 2, but I got my feet under
Yeah,
me.
I think you're in the
hitting my
lead.
stride now.
Yeah.
I want to love like Jesus. Is it Russell Wilson?
That's it.
Kanye West? Or Justin Bieber?
That's a good selection. These are all vaguely religious guys.
Is Russell Wilson a religious guy?
Yes, for sure. That's probably the most actually religious of all three.
Just not as loud about it.
He's
I
pretty
want
loud
to
about it.
like Jesus.
Kanye feels on the nose for Kanye, but who knows?
I got to guess.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Bieber's really been like kind of stuffing his Christianity like down people's throats lately. And there was even, I saw a headline that said like, Haley wouldn't have married him if he wasn't religious. So I think that's like his campaign right now. I'm going Bieber.
Yeah. Kanye, Russell, I don't know. Does Russell play it closer to the vest? I feel it might be, I'm going Biebs too.
Russell Wilson is very outspoken about his religion. I don't know if it's him, but I'll just do a wild guess and say Russell Wilson.
The bio belongs to Russell Wilson.
Oh, damn it.
Shut the fuck up about it.
I'm yo daddy. Is it Kevin Durant,
That's it?
Marshawn Lynch, or Travis Scott?
I really don't know what's happening in this one.
Travis Scott has
He's
the
with a Jenner.
rapper. It's got the Happy Meals named after him.
Right. Okay.
Which is basically, it's like a McDonald's meal,
With like,
except for there's a little figurine of him.
oh,
And he's
Like
made a suicide. He took like the his Sun-Kissed lemon and
Right.
mixed it with the Pepsi or something.
I knew someone who used to drink Diet Coke mixed with lemonade at the fountain drink, and I still can't stop
Why would
thinking
you
about
do
it.
that?
I
Why
know,
would
it's
you do that?
disgusting. So I'm sorry, who are all these people?
Kevin Durant's a basketball player. He's
Okay.
very, very good.
From the Nets?
Currently, yes, was the Warriors previously. Marshawn Lynch, former football player.
Was he the guy who would
Skittles.
never answer questions?
Yeah, one of many, yes. He was the Skittles guy.
Beast mode.
yeah,
But
he's
he was the one that would like actively like tell guy like
was
press conference guys
mercurial.
to fuck off.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
He
he
the
would-
latest season of Westworld, if that helps.
What?
he would be asked. He was told he had to do a press
Yeah, that
conference,
guy,
so he
okay.
sat there and pouted the
I
whole
see.
time. Didn't answer.
And sorry, what was the bio? It was like 3 words. What was the bio, Dawson?
I'm yo daddy.
Got it.
And daddy is spelled Daddy. I.
Oh, that helps actually.
Mm-hmm.
Does it?
It does? Uh-oh.
And yo is spelled yo.
Mm-hmm. Boy. Jesus. I don't know. I'm going Marshawn.
Damn it. I've been told by many people that Marshawn Lynch is smart, and I've yet to see evidence. So I hope this is him. To further
He
my
went to
theory.
Cal. Come on, he's got to be
that's
smart.
a good point. Him and Deshaun
Jackson?
Deshaun Jackson. Yeah, I was saying Watson.
Yeah, you can't get into Cal.
I'm going to go Travis Scott.
All right.
I'll go, what's his name?
Kevin Durant?
Yeah. I don't know.
The bio belongs to Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Never been so happy to be wrong.
Here's the last one in this round. We may get to a tiebreaker.
I feel like we've celebrated Marshawn Lynch intellectually. Maybe we have overdone it a little bit with the celebration of like, he's so funny or he's so interesting or so whatever. It's like, not really.
No, he's not at all.
He just sort of sits there and grunts a lot. And we grafted this thing onto him where it's like, oh, he's funny and he's charismatic and he's got his own thing going
he got
on.
so much mileage out of that Skittles thing.
Right.
It made him like lovable.
It's like if a hot girl snickers at your joke, she must have a great sense of humor.
Right. All right.
All right, so second and third place are mathematically eliminated from winning this game, but let's do the last one anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Former shoe salesman, now making a go at film and theater.
Al Bundy.
Polk High.
Is it Jason Alexander, Kevin Spacey, or Morgan Freeman?
Oh. This is so droll. It has to be Jason Alexander.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, feels that way. Feels that was my impulse. Even before his name came up.
Could be Morgan Freeman, having a little bit of a joke at himself.
But they emphasize theater, and like Jason Alexander's the
that's
theater
a really
guy.
good point.
All right, whoever guessed it first is the only one that can lock in, and this one's for all the marbles.
I'm going Jason Alexander. on
Me
this
too.
one.
Me too.
You're all wrong.
Come on.
The blog belongs to Kevin Spacey.
Wow.
I knew it.
No, he sold shoes. All right.
So for a score of 7-5, the winner is Adam Carolla.
Oh, yeah.
You persevered.
Until next time, keep your fingers on your keyboards and your heads up your asses so we can play another round of blah, blah, blah.
I like the bio edition.
Yeah, I like the bio edition too. Max Zapata, here's an interesting journey to go on. I had this thought, maybe I wrote it down. I got 27 pieces of scrap paper in front of me, but I was listening to some old right-wing zealoty guy go on about nonsense, and I thought he sounds like Tom Arnold, but Tom Arnold's on the other side of the aisle, but he's just as animated and has just as much stuff. And their voices kind of sounded the same, and I'm trying to think who it was. I just write it down. It'll come to me, but we'll do a little tape of Tom Arnold waxing on about politics and this guy waxing on about politics, and I can't remember who it was, but I spotted it and I had the thought, and I'll bring it home and figure it out, and we'll circle it. We'll circle back to it. Let me tell you about the Hyundai Tucson. Hyundai questioned everything to create the best Tucson ever. Every inch of the all-new Tucson has been completely reimagined, resulting in an SUV loaded with innovation inside and out. From design to technology to safety, every aspect of the new Tucson has been improved and completely redesigned. This is a ton of SUV. Well, actually, probably a little more than a ton of SUV. Digital key allows you to use your phone as a spare key. It's got a 10.25-inch full-touch infotainment screen, LED daytime running lights stylishly hidden in the front grille. It's beautiful. There's tons of technology in this truck, and the price point is surprisingly low. And I've sat in that driver's seat for a long time and just touched everything on the dash, and it works, man. It is the new Hyundai Tucson. You learn more at Hyundai.com. All right, Dan Abrams is going to join us. Maybe we'll have him do a little showdown with Gina, and we'll talk to him right after this.
And now, a totally innocuous word that sounds dirty when Mike Dawson says it.
Spread.
Ew. Let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Well, Dan Abrams is going to join us. You know him from, well, everything from the last, 25 years on TV. We'll talk about his new show. Gina will do a little Nancy Grace.
Oh.
I have a Fauci conspiracy theory that I floated to Mark Garagos, so on Reasonable Doubt. So
You came up with this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I floated to Mark, so Mark reminded me of Dan because they're court guys, and we'll see. Is Dan...
Sounds like the way a dumb guy would call a lawyer. Hey, he's a court guy.
He's a good court guy. Hey, Dan.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guy.
I didn't realize I was doing video, so I just had to sort of, not have my back.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Well, this is going to be a real easy debate.
Well, he locked up, so maybe we'll pull him up on the phone if it doesn't work.
Wait.
You back, Dan?
Oh, sorry. I've been having some issues today with my internet. Am I good?
Now we're back.
It's working now.
All right.
All right, so much to talk about, and also a little Nancy Grace talk, because Gina does a spot on Nancy Grace as well.
I look forward to that.
TV show Court Cam presents Under Oath. New episodes Wednesdays, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific on A&E. Tell us about the show.
The show basically looks at these interesting murder cases through the lens of the defendant when the defendant takes the witness stand, which is rare.
Right.
Defendants don't take the witness stand all that often for the most obvious reason, which is most of the time they're guilty. It's not a good idea. But in these cases, we got 20 of them so far. The defendants take the gamble of taking the witness stand to try to prove to the jury that either they didn't do it or it was self-defense or there's a good explanation, et cetera. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But, for someone who's covered trials as long as I have, when you get to a trial where a defendant actually takes the witness stand, it's a really big deal. And sort of everything else kind of stops. And that's what makes it so interesting. So I've always thought that there was a series to do on defendants who take the witness stand, and so now we're doing it.
That sounds awesome.
It's interesting because it could go one of two ways. One being innocent, wants to proclaim innocence, or nothing to lose.
Right.
I'm guilty anyway.
But that's always the main story, even with Derek Chauvin and how many back, OJ, whoever. Everybody wants to know, will they take the stand? You're right. That's the question that has the media buzzing.
And then when they do, the whole case comes down to that.
Right.
Right. Meaning like nothing else matters after the defendant takes the witness stand. It's just like...
Seized up.
See, nothing else matters.
Well, maybe we'll try to get him on the phone. I always love OJ when he was trying to put the bloody glove on. And I
He tried, man.
The pomp, the circumstance.
Tried hard.
always liken it to those late night commercials, those infotainment commercials where they're trying to sell you the spaghetti colander that's built into the pot. And they go, you tried it the old way. And the guy just dumps the pot on his child, with the colander sitting in the sink.
That's right.
Hey, you can't pull it off. Like he was putting that glove on like she was dumping spaghetti into the colander. Like, I don't
No more clumsy knives.
You're absolutely right.
All right, now I think Dan may be back.
I'm going to try and come back in a better way. Hold on.
He's coming back in a better way. We should all
In a
wish
better
that.
way. I'm going up to I'm going to go to a different laptop, and I'm going to be back with you guys in a minute because I'm having some problems.
All right. Well, I will filibuster here, and I will talk about. Remember, Dan hosted Live PD on A&E, which was the biggest cable show running at the time, and then the George Floyd thing came about.
Remind me what that, I can imagine it was a cops type show.
Yeah, it was like Live PD. It was like he was at the control room, like home base, and different municipalities, like in the middle of chases and apprehensions, and it was a huge show.
It's the future.
It was Cops Live,
live.
essentially.
Yeah.
And then the whole George Floyd thing went, and it was like, all right, now we got to get rid of that. But imagine having a show that was that successful that it was just like canceled over, obviously a cultural touchdown.
Shift.
All right, so we'll talk to Dan about that. And yeah, Mark Garagos says you really don't put your guy on the stand unless it's time to sort of, it's a Hail Mary move for the most part. You don't want that kind of exposure. I don't know why.
There's more to lose.
And also, I think you have to kind of judge your guy.
I was just about to say cater it to their skills, right? If you have a eloquent or charismatic person who can protest their innocence,
right,
by all means.
Well, on SVU, they always take the stand.
Well, Mark does a little bit of this in the book Mistrial that I recommend you just read, or I'll read it to you. The audiobook's on Audible.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he gets into the nuts and the bolts of that. All right. Well, we'll see where Dan lands in his home.
You want to give us your Fauci theory?
Well, I do, but I was kind of wanting to do it with Dan as well and have him weigh in with all his courtroom experience.
You think he secretly started the phrase Fauci ouchie?
That's right. Getting
He's
that going.
the one that got it rolling.
I got to commend our society on really never screwing up Fauci's name.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it written, there's a good chance it wouldn't come out the way it comes out, but we got coached up fast.
You're right.
Nobody has punted. No one's booted that at all.
You're right. The first person that I've ever heard about Dr. Fauci was someone who mispronounced his name, which was at the very beginning of all this, was Dr. Drew, called him Dr. Fauci. And so when I heard Dr. Fauci, I just assumed they were saying it wrong.
Oh, Drew did screw it up. Well,
but he knew who he was. None of us knew who he was.
It reads Fauci, I guess.
It's
but,
one C.
But we've all done a masterful job of doing that. I don't know if we've done as well with Kamala Harris or Kamala.
You mean Kamala?
Kamala.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Dan. You're back.
Sorry about that.
No, that's good.
Sorry. Yeah.
All right. So, so from the point of view of the defendant who is taking the stand, can you give us some that you remember that stand out?
I was just saying that sort of it all ends up coming down to, is that person credible? And the jurors forget everything else. That if you believe the defendant, that's a great, great thing for the defendant. If they don't believe the defendant's in a lot of trouble.
I'm wondering, just in terms of gender, have you noticed, do women as defendants take the stand more than men? I'm just assuming that, and I don't know why.
It's a good question. And we do have in a lot of episodes women who took the stand. And in a lot of the cases,
we'll never know.
Well, we might have to phone Dan up. Perhaps.
I hope this isn't some kind of a flimsy excuse to get out of talking to me, because I have seen other approaches. And let me just tell you, Dan, if that's your real name, this excuse is not going to sit well with this audience.
Do we have some of Dan and Nancy Grace? Are the clip you were speaking of?
The explanation of her disappearance. I mean, ladies, are any of you mothers, raise your hands. I mean, it would be over my cold, dead body that someone would take me away from my children.
Put it on pause
to grow up with...
Nothing better than when ladies raise your hands, and the lady raises her hand instantly before they can ask the question. Before she, who amongst us?
She's good.
There was a hand up. There was an idiot had their hand up.
Well, she's a carnival barker.
If they said podcasters raise your hand, I'd probably throw a hand up there. Like vintage racers raise a hand. Now, how many are pedophiles? Oh,
well, hands down.
All right, sorry, guys.
Are any of you mothers, raise your hands. I mean, it would be over my cold, dead body
she's a mom.
that someone would take me away from my children to grow up without me in their life. No way. She had never gone missing before. She had never left her family before. And the explanation, she went off with some boyfriend, I am not buying that. Then the threats. She told people.
Hold on a second. I do love, Nancy's one of these people that does this thing where they go, that 14-year-old was killed while walking home from school. You know what they should be doing right now? They should be planning their graduation. Oh, they're not going to get their learner's permit.
No prom.
No STDs.
No homecoming.
No. Well, let's be realistic.
Yeah.
There's, that blows
no
your way,
unplanned
too.
pregnancy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nancy does a lot of things that idiots sound like. To them, it sounds good. Like, they never did this before. Yeah, no one ever does anything before the first time they do it. The first time they do it, they never do it before that.
All right, let's not beat up on the woman. Though. She's a national treasure. Sorry, go ahead.
Not buying that. Then the threats. She told people, which is hearsay in court, that he had threatened to kill her. She told a lot of people. And what is the strongest evidence to me is his behavioral evidence. And I know how you feel
Dan's
about
giving
it.
her a look like,
God, compared to the rest of the stuff,
got
you have
rolled
the
in shit.
behavior.
See, I knew you would say that.
You
But
know?
ladies, let me speak to you.
Raise your hands.
And he cuts her. Yeah.
Oh, he's on line one.
Okay, he cuts her off, and she rips him in the next 30 seconds of that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Dan. Dan's on
I'm here.
line one. Dan, we're playing a clip of you and Nancy Grace.
Oh, she does not like to be talked over.
Can we just hear you being ripped by Nancy Grace, please?
Please.
All
please,
right, we'll just
please.
finish that.
Let's cherish the moment.
Let's cherish it.
This is in my opinion. But let me give you the three reasons
she's
why
giving
I
you the
think
stink eye.
he has not been charged in connection with Stacy's death. First of all,
I never got to my third reason, but go ahead. I'd be mad if you didn't just jump in. Go ahead.
that was your third.
I didn't get to my third, but I'm
Your
going to say
behavioral
I'm
was
gonna
your third.
ambush you with it. Go ahead.
Wow.
Calling her shot.
Nancy, you got Dan on the blower now.
I have been dreaming of this moment since the day we taped that episode. Dan, is it? Dan? Ladies, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you've had enough of men interrupting you when you have not gotten to your third point. So what if point number 2 has 14 different exhibits? I hadn't gotten to my third point, but ladies, raise your hand if you're sick of being interrupted by male chauvinists like Dan here.
Dan, who likes to drive his Porsche. on
You
Park
know the kind of man
Avenue.
I'm talking about. The Porsche on Park Avenue. Well, wham for Dan.
Yep. Oh, I know it well.
Am I triggering you?
Dan's shuddering.
You are.
What are the...
Bringing back some very, very, very scary memories.
Do you have a Porsche, Dan?
You know what's really funny is when she made that comment to me, and she said this on Good Morning America, she accused me of driving a Porsche down Park Avenue. I did not have a Porsche, but since then, I actually do.
Oh, she gave you a good idea.
We knew it.
Well,
You did. I was like, wow, that's the guy I want to be.
Yeah, why don't I have a Porsche?
but maybe she's just doing alliteration, like, or his Buick down Bleecker
Yeah.
Street, like.
Yeah.
He picks his pickled peppers like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
How was
Well,
Nancy when the camera light turned off?
Oh, she was great. I mean, Nancy knows how to put on a show, and look, she believes the stuff she says, but
Just say
she
Nancy's
also,
Nancy.
I think she can just say it in a way that is a bit more aggressive than maybe she really is in real life. Because actually, she is a really kind of great person off camera, and sort of she's lovely. So we got along quite well off camera.
She does do her best, it seems, to be intimidating, or maybe it comes naturally. There was another clip where she was kind of going after the attorney, and she's like, "You look me in the eye." Oh, we have it. You look me in the eye, and it would be like looking into the Ark of the Covenant. Like I wouldn't be able to do it.
Well, let's hear that one. Go ahead.
I can't say what my client told me. That's privileged.
Now, let me ask you this. When you wake up in the morning, you're making me rethink the whole legal profession, Joel Brodsky. When you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you're brushing your teeth, you don't think, I've let those children grow up without a mother, and they may think right now that she abandoned them when I know she didn't, that she's dead?
Okay. Well, I mean, listen, I get clients
No,
tell me
look
things
at me in the
clients
eye
tell me all things
and
all the
answer me
time.
that.
Clients tell me things all the time that are very disturbing. And as an attorney, it's privileged. I can't talk.
I'm talking about these children that have grown up thinking there's a sliver of a chance that their mother left them high and dry. Right here.
It's a
Look him in the eye.
Wow.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of It's a lot of theater, but I guess we probably knew that, right?
And we love it.
Respond to it.
Yeah.
She's a big star.
So, Dan, I'm sorry. Before we cut you off, we're talking about women taking the stand versus men taking the stand. I was thinking about crying, which is effective, and I was thinking about women crying. But if you could get a few tears out of a guy,
now you're sailing.
That's pretty damn important.
Well, it's interesting because, and I'm just thinking of it anecdotally in terms of the stories we did where women take the stand. There's not a ton of tears, meaning it's pretty, I think they recognize, and I bet you their lawyers tell them this, which is crying is dangerous stuff because if the jurors don't believe it's authentic, if they think that any of those tears aren't real, you're done. And so I will bet that any defendant who takes the stand, if there's a chance you're going to cry, it's got to be everything matters when you take the stand. I mean, it's like what you're wearing matters, how you say it matters, where you look matters, how you look matters. So all this stuff is so important that if a defendant starts crying, boy, it better have been timed perfectly, seem totally authentic, et cetera. Because, their lives are literally on the line. I mean, some of these cases are death penalty cases.
How many cases, Dan, have you been involved in that you can remember where you just completely saw it 100% different from the jury? You were there, you heard the information, you watched everything, and you're like, I know this is how this is going to go, and they went guilty or they went innocent. What's the percentage on that with you?
So I'll separate it out into cases where I thought the jury got, like O.J. Simpson, right? Like I strongly believed that he would be found not guilty, even though I was convinced he was guilty. So that one wasn't a surprise. I will tell you the case that was a surprise to me, that was a high-profile one, was the Casey Anthony case. I thought Casey Anthony would be convicted. She wasn't convicted. It's not very often that after watching the entirety of a trial that I'll get it totally wrong. And that's not because I'm great. It's just because when you are sitting there every day watching a case and you're getting to see the jurors, et cetera, you get a pretty good sense of what's going to happen. And that's why I say that in something like the Casey Anthony case, to have gotten it just, wrong was a little jarring.
Did she drown her kids in the tub? What was her thing?
Back of the car.
No, she was the one.
Lake.
Yeah, who buried her child in the backyard. And the question, was whether she did it. She sort of pointed the finger at her dad, potentially blaming him. And, it was, in my view, it wasn't, a particularly close or tough case. And the jurors, I think, got really hung up on the legal standard, which is, good for them in the sense that they followed the reasonable doubt. They felt that they had reasonable doubt as to whether she did it. But, this is the woman who went partying after her daughter had died, and they found her car abandoned. And there was an enormous amount of evidence against her.
A real quick retraction. That was Susan Smith that drove the car into the lake.
Oh, and then
correct.
It's easy to get these confused.
Casey Anthony just killed her kid, or allegedly.
There was something involving a
tub?
trunk. There was something involving a trunk.
God, we really don't remember this.
Susan Smith, different story. Casey Anthony, they found her car abandoned, and they said there was testimony that it's, quote, smelled like death in there. There was, there was enormous amounts of evidence. But so the answer to your question broadly is, it's rare. It's really rare that I will have been following a case from beginning to end and just totally have misread the jury on it and get it totally wrong. But
what about these instances? Like, again, spent a lot of time chatting with Mark Garagos, and he'll tell us a lot of instances. One that jumps out was the Harvey Weinstein case, which is what was going on in the courtroom versus what was being reported was two different cases in his mind. Like he said, I had people in that courtroom and they were saying something completely different to me than you would see on the evening news that night. Is that something that you've experienced, Dan?
I think Garagos is overstating that. I think that, for example, in the Scott Peterson case, when Garagos represented Scott Peterson, he would complain of that all the time. And I sat in the courtroom during the Peterson case, and the reporting was generally quite accurate. Do reporters make mistakes? Absolutely. Are there reporters who cover trials who don't understand the law? Definitely. But the notion that sort of, it's a completely different story being told, that's to me advocacy by Mark rather than reality.
He loves that Weinstein. What's your take in general on trials being covered, being broadcast, televised, photographers versus sketch artists?
Yeah. So I have a big bias here in that, I started a network called Law and Crime Network, which covers trials 24/7. So I am very much in the business of covering live trials. And I believe that it's a good thing. I think that the Derek Chauvin case is a great example of a case where there was a camera in the courtroom, and I'm glad there was, so the public could see for itself what was the evidence, what was presented, how did the jury come to its verdict. I mean, people forget that courtrooms were built with galleries so that citizens could come and watch. I mean, it wasn't just so family members could sit there. It was so the public could see, in the case of the people of the state of California versus blank, how the prosecutor, who is presumably representing the people of the state of California, is performing and doing in a case. So, I've long believed that. I was back at Court TV in the early days, and I think at Law and Crime Network, we're now sort of ensuring that people can get to see some of the highest profile and sometimes most important cases of the day.
Well, so that leads us to a can of worms, Dan. But I don't know if you have an opinion on. I don't know if you have a prediction. But do you think based on what you're talking about, do you think Donald Trump will get indicted? And then what will that trial be like? That would be the biggest circus I can only imagine what the coverage will even approach.
So I think as of right now, all the signs point towards a likely indictment. And the reason for that is, first of all, you've got this enormous fight over the tax returns, right? The DA wins that fight. Once the DA wins that fight, a special prosecutor is brought in who's got unique experience relevant to this kind of case. When I say special prosecutor, I mean, this is a guy who was making a lot of money in private practice, who comes over to just work on this for the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and begin the process of evaluating the evidence, et cetera. And then they impanel a special grand jury, meaning up to that point, there had really been different grand juries which they'd used to try and subpoena documents, et cetera. Now there's this grand jury which is focusing on this case, which is terrible news for Donald Trump and the Trump organization. Does that mean he's definitely going to get indicted? No. Does it mean that if we weren't talking about Donald Trump, that any legal analyst would tell you this is a really bad sign for your client? Yes. So if that were to happen, if he is indicted, I think it's going to be, it won't be televised because in New York, it's very rare in New York State for cameras to be allowed into courtrooms. But the jury selection process in that case is obviously going to be critical.
That's a good point.
Well, a couple things. I would argue that now that we've signed off on most cops wearing cameras, we could extend that logic into the courtroom.
Yeah.
If you guys are in a room watching video footage of the cop arresting someone, I think we've established cameras are around and they're being used. And why shouldn't we be able to watch you watching the camera that was on the cop?
Yeah, and I think you have to now because if whatever group doesn't like the way it went down, they'll just say you did it wrong with no proof.
Also, is there a human being over the last 5 years who has been on camera more than Donald Trump?
No. Is there, Dan, I would imagine that they're rolling at least a Ring doorbell camera in there just to capture
just to have
the archive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, or I mean, they have stenographers,
Right.
but I mean, just to go
For the
here's
record.
what for the record. Is that true?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there'll be a security camera in the courtroom, but it's not designed for the purposes of showing the defendant and showing the trial and having that would be a stenographer in the courtroom. But it is interesting to think about jury selection, right? And I think that there are two examples I would give. Number one is, again, coming back to the O.J. Simpson case, is after the O.J. Simpson criminal case, they had to find a jury down the road in Santa Monica for the O.J. Simpson civil case. So the whole world had followed this case, right? And now you have to figure out a way to find a jury for the same trial, for the same evidence, with many of the same lawyers, not all of them, but many of the same lawyers, with the same witnesses, et cetera. And I was stunned in Santa Monica watching jury selection, how many people just still hadn't followed the case that closely, meaning, they knew Johnny Cochran, they knew O.J. had been found not guilty, they knew something about allegations of racism, but they didn't know all of the details of the case. It's obviously a little different when you're talking about someone like Donald Trump, who people are going to have very strong opinions about. But the other example I would give, and this connects to a new book I have out about Jack Ruby, is when Jack Ruby shot Lee Harvey Oswald in front of the world, right? I mean, the video was seen live.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Ruby's trial, then they had to find jurors, and one of the things the defense argued was they've all been witnesses to the crime. So none of them should be, anyone who saw the video or saw it live or later should not be a witness should not be a juror in the Jack Ruby case. It was not an argument that succeeded, and they moved forward with the case. But I guess my broader point is that, there have been a number of very high-profile cases where people have said, you'll never be able to find a jury, et cetera, and they have been able to find juries.
All right. Well, we were talking about Garagos earlier. I do a podcast with him called Reasonable Doubt. I floated my Dr. Fauci conspiracy theory. I thought, Dan, you can pick it apart with your legal expertise, but maybe Nancy Grace could defend it.
I'd love to.
So this is from the show we did yesterday, which was it Beyond a Reasonable Doubt?
Yeah.
I think it's our little supplementary thing. And I've been floating conspiracy theories lately, so this is my latest. No, I got it. Here's my synopsis of what's going to happen with Fauci. I think it's my gun in the nightstand theory, which is you have a gun in your nightstand. You're not going to use it on anybody. You're not going to hurt anybody with it. It's there for home protection. Hold on. But should we set the table? Maybe I should set the table on it a little bit. This is Fauci and his connection possibly to the Wuhan lab, and sort of wanting to distance himself initially from that theory. So here's my synopsis of what's going to happen with Fauci. I think it's my gun in the nightstand theory, which is you have a gun in your nightstand. You're not going to use it on anybody. You're not going to hurt anybody with it. It's there for home protection. But it's not put in a safe. And it's loaded. But you still didn't really do anything. But one day you come home and you see the gun is gone. And you go, oh, shit, where's the gun? Then the next day you hear that the neighbor kid was shot. And now you go, oh, shit, somebody stole my gun and shot the neighbor kid. I'm fucked. And then somebody says, you know what? I think it was a gangbanger who shot the neighbor kid in a drive-by. And you go, oh, yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's what happened. The neighbor. And then I go on the news. I go, did you hear about the gangbanger? He shot the neighbor kid. They're still looking for him. But that's what happened. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck. Bullet dodge, pardon the pun, which is I wasn't nefarious. Like, I wasn't trying to harm anyone with this gun, but I did kind of store it carelessly, and it would have gotten back to me. There would have been some liability. I would have been in trouble. So when you do the theory of the drive-by with the gangbanger, which is the pangolin theory, and the bat theory, I go, oh, yeah, that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. That is my Fauci gun in the nightstand theory. Doesn't make him a criminal, doesn't make him a bad guy, just makes him know something. And when he found out the bat theory, he went, yeah, that's good. That's what happened. Dan, what do you think of the theory?
Well, the first problem with the theory is that it would make him a bad guy. I mean, it would make him a terrible guy.
Well, who amongst us wouldn't do the nightstand thing, though? Wouldn't I?
Well, no. But the claim is that he's lying. I mean, it's not just that he's now corrupt, right? He's basically according to
my feeling is it could have gone this way or it could have gone that way. This one is an easier angle for him. Yes. I don't know. Well, in a way, it kind of makes him human.
Keep going, Dan.
Yeah,
Keep going.
Okay, but the way you characterized it, to say it doesn't make him a bad guy, it would make him a terrible guy. If your theory using that reasoning is what happened here, that's corruption on the part of Anthony Fauci. That means he's a dishonest guy. It's not sort of saying, well, there were one of two ways, and he sort of leaned a little bit more because it might look better for him. You're saying he picked something.
Well, first off, this is, right? I don't know. I feel like this is commonplace these days. Like, I don't know anyone who wouldn't have leaned at least that direction. But, okay. Well, I don't know. I find it to be human, more human than evil.
But, to me, that's not, to me, the human piece would be to say he didn't want to believe it. Right. If you want to say, he knew the researchers and he trusted them and, maybe he was naive, et cetera.
Well, you know what I should have said? I should have said he didn't know the gun was used against the neighbor, but he understood it was a possibility. And when he heard about the gangbanger theory, that should have been more nuanced. Right. I should have said he didn't know, heard about the gangbanger and went in, which is something I think most humans would definitely do. But Nancy, would you like to defend the theory?
Ladies, raise your hand if you keep a gun in your nightstand. Don't bother. I know you do. We all do. We'll all raise our hands. We want to be protected from predators preying on our children at night, preying on our helpless sleeping bodies. Now, if you tell me that you can't keep a gun in a nightstand to protect your children who are going to be snatched in the night, then I don't want to be in a country that wouldn't support that. I absolutely believe that Dr. Fauci should be able to keep a gun in his nightstand to protect his family from thieves, robbers, and predators.
It was a metaphor.
Yeah, I'm not.
Huh? What's that?
I'm not sure it made sense, but that was fire.
That was good.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with me.
I'm glad you're in my camp.
Dr. Fauci has the right to defend his family. Raise your hand if you agree with me.
I'm a mother. I mean, a father.
Thank you.
She got me thinking I'm a mother.
Which Porsche you have now, Dan? I like Porsches.
Yeah, I have a McCann, the family vehicle. Yeah, it's not like a cool. It's not like a sports car. It's
I think Dr. Drew.
Not a hot rod.
Dr. Drew has the McCann.
Yeah.
Sorry, you had to join that elite fraternity.
Yeah.
Let me give you a plug, Dan. The TV show Court Cam presents Under Oath. New episodes Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. And you can also check out the podcast, the Dan Abrams podcast as well, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Podcast One as well. And shoot him a tweet at Dan Abrams. Dan, sorry about the technical glitch, but I think we had a good conversation anyway.
It was great. The technical was on my side, so sorry about that.
And the book, by the way, Kennedy's Avenger, and it's available now on Amazon. Dan, come join us again, and thanks for the coaching.
I'd love to. I'd love to come back. See you guys.
Thanks, Dan.
I'm excited about that show.
Yeah,
the
me
defendants,
too.
Yeah.
Talk about X Chair here. I love my new X Chair, and to be candid, I got the X chair before this X chair. This is not my first X chair. The secret is the patented DVL, Dynamic Variable Lumbar Support. It's the new X HMT technology for heat and massage therapy while I'm sitting. It is so nice. And now I look forward to spending hours in that chair. X HMT delivers heat and massage technology right to my core, helping increase blood flow, muscle recovery, and energy. And there's 4 different massage modes and fast-warming heat technology as well. Feel the X-Chair difference for yourself. Trust me, there is one. It's X-Chair, right, Dawson?
X-Chair is on sale now for $100 off. Go to xchairadam.com. Now, that's the letter X, chair, ADAM.com, or call 1-844-4X-CHAIR. X-Chair has a 30-day guarantee of complete comfort, and you can finance your purchase. With as little as $30 a month, go to xchairadam.com now and use code XWheels for free X-Wheel blade casters. xchairadam.com.
All right, quick break. Come back with the news right after this.
Give me the news with Grad. News with Gina Grad. Breaking viral. Weird crime, protest, politics. Give me news with Gina Grad. Stuff they saw on TMZ. Joe Biden. Kamala. Meet news with Gina Grad.
The news with Gina Grad.
There is a massive cicada invasion taking over parts of the East and Midwest, and they're beginning to wreak havoc in D.C., where the swarm of cicadas is so large, they've actually appeared on weather radar. It was crazy. It looked like, maybe a little storm. Nope, cicadas. They're annoying, but mostly harmless insects. They managed to swarm the White House press plane, delaying its flight to Europe. Joint Base Andrews, President Biden was seen swatting cicadas from his neck. He was about to board Air Force One. A cicada is also being blamed for a car accident in Cincinnati. Police say the driver lost control when a giant cicada flew into the window and was fluttering onto his face. The vehicle swerved off the road, slammed into a utility pole. The driver suffered minor injuries. The cicada was found dead on the floorboard.
Oh, no.
They are coming.
Always travel the dead cicada in case you get pulled over.
In case you swerve, yeah.
Also, there's a lot of them because they're talking about recipes.
Yes, everyone's talking about whether you should eat or not eat cicadas.
Should you?
Well, like in Thailand, like a
crickets,
street market, that's very common.
I guess everything is they're all just protein.
Right.
Seems
Water
weird.
bugs, shrimp, they look like cockroaches.
Yeah, I guess so. We have a weird relationship with shit we'll eat. But
if it's in the water.
Wasn't it... God, I'm trying to think what celebrity chick was pitching eating insects.
Angelina Jolie.
Take them, ground them up, protein, feed them to dogs, whatever.
Well, that was a big thing on Shark Tank at least once. I'm sure it's come back, but it's, like protein shake. It's ground, it's powder. You don't know what's in it. I would drink that.
God knows how many cicada legs are in whatever you buy and hot dogs and stuff anyway. Yeah, I think they make crazy noises too. Is that correct?
Yeah, they actually make my favorite noise, and I don't like the idea of swarms of them, but it is very Kansas in the twilight, like walking home from the pool when the sun's going down, hearing zzz, and
didgeridoo.
I love that sound. It's very Kansas in the summer, but I don't want to see them on the radar.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Is that it?
Is that for us?
Was that supposed to be?
Sorry, we were searching.
My cicada was better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
All right.
So be careful and take cover. Actually, somebody posted on Facebook just from their iPhone how loud it was inside their house because the cicadas were in the backyard. I'll see if I can find that. And opened the door, and it was like a decibel level that's not like you're supposed to have headphones on. Like it's too loud.
Don't you think insanely religious people are thinking about hiking to the mountaintop about now? It's
the
like, we got a black female vice president. We got cicadas.
Signs all around you.
Freezing over.
We got this COVID-19 blowing around here.
What more evidence do you want?
I'm going up that mountain,
Absolutely.
and I'm waiting.
Still wanna leave
Rapture's coming.
Well, you can now tell the world how you feel about going back to work, and you don't even have to say anything. A growing number of businesses and gathering places are handing out color-coded wristbands modeled on traffic lights to explain kind of your vibe and what you're willing to sort of endure and what you're not. So according to Wall Street Journal, places like, say, Virginia's Chamber of Commerce are using red wristbands when you want to wear them and say, don't touch me, no exceptions. Yellow to mean elbow bumps only, and folks wearing green letting you know that hugs are welcome.
Well, I already have that. When I see a douche with a bunch of bracelets, I'm like, that guy, he doesn't want a handshake.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have seen, I won't say whose, but I have seen on other people's wedding invitations that very, very strict COVID rules, like you have to give, a negative reading,
Test
whatever.
or something,
Like 72 hours before, and, their temperature checks at the door. And I've seen ones that are handing out ribbons for color-coded ribbons if you want people to stay away from you at the wedding. I don't plan on doing that. But do you think I should?
I don't. I'm always kind of torn on like the handshake. It spreads things, but we're humans. It's important.
The hug, you're going right past them.
Yeah, the hug. And then there's the people get so delighted over the elbow bump. Like,
Hey!
we're doing elbow bumps. I don't know. Maybe the Japanese have it right with the bowing. Shows decorum, respect, you know. Hi.
People ask how much longer, like handshakes aren't coming back, but how much longer do we have to reference it? Like, hey, I can't shake your hand. Like, when's that going to go away?
I didn't even know that COVID was spread that way, or it wasn't.
But if you shook someone's hand and then rubbed your eye or bit your nails or something, touch your face.
That's what they started saying, but evidently nobody did that, or it just didn't turn out to be a vector of spreading. It all seems to be aerosolized droplets.
Tessa had her little preschool graduation on Friday, and when they handed them the medals, by the way, medals is what they get now, and they gave them elbow bumps.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Cute.
Indoctrinate the next group.
Gina, at your wedding.
Yeah.
You should have everyone bow at you.
Have everyone
That
bow.
would be great. I would love that. Okay.
Yeah.
But, do you guys know what an oof roof is?
No.
Probably not.
I don't know gay slang.
It's supposed to be the Shabbat, the Saturday before your wedding, where you go up on stage at the synagogue and they announce you're getting married and everyone pelts candy at you, like pelts it. I don't know if they're still, I don't know if they're still doing that, but I'll let you people know.
Don't invite Sandy Koufax to the oof roof.
So some things are getting back to normal. Indiana Jones is getting back to normal, and there's photographic evidence. Harrison Ford was photographed in his iconic costume.
We were talking about Sandy Koufax the other day because we're talking about him with John Taffer owning the hotel.
That hotel, Tropicana.
He was like, there are only a handful of superstar Jews in the league,
right?
And so if you talk to and there's a lot of Jewish baseball fans, but they didn't feel like they were represented, so they all love Sandy Koufax because that's my guy. That's what you want to.
Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, that's who you want to be. You want to be that guy who lives amongst none other who are like you, and then you'll be the favorite,
no matter what.
Yeah, if you're the Goyim, then you got to whack it up against about Steve Garvey.
Steve Hildekheim. Was it Airplane or Airplane 2 where
the pamphlet?
Yeah, he says I would like some light reading.
Right.
Here's a pamphlet on famous Jewish athletes.
Right.
I think that was the second one. I don't remember. But
I think it was the first one.
Was it?
First one,
okay.
I think.
Indiana Jones is back. Harrison Ford pictured in his iconic costume on the set of the 5th installment of the franchise, and he has a little mask on. Everybody's masked up. Actor Josh Gad shared the picture on his Instagram account, writing, "All is right with the world. Welcome back, Dr. Jones." It's the first time I'm sorry, take a guess. How old is Harrison Ford?
83.
Yeah, he's 80-something.
Close. 78, has worn the Indy costume since 2008, Indiana Jones Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This will come to theaters next July.
Is he still banging around with what's her name?
Was it Callista Flockhart?
Yes.
I haven't heard otherwise.
I see his plane all the time.
You do?
Yeah, he has a yellow biplane. It's impossible to miss, and it flies around our neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Because we're at Santa Monica Airport.
Is it a biplane or just a yellow old plane?
We can look up.
Is it the one he crashed?
Crash landed. Yeah, I think.
I think that was a single wing plane, but we can find. But it's old timey,
and it's yellow.
Wing?
Not double.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That did
just the right size.
Adam, I don't know anything about planes, but I don't think you're right about that.
Well, you know, buys though. Callista Flockhart was Ally McBeal.
Ally McBeal.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought that was what's her name with the red
hair. He was
hair.
with the Ellen's ex.
Portia de Rossi?
No, the Anne Heche.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Or was it just the movie?
I thought they were romantically.
We all sound like we're going insane, by the way.
It was just the movie.
They did a movie where they crash
6 days,
landed
7
on an
nights.
island, right?
6 days, 7 nights.
Yeah. Callista Flockhart, I've not seen her. What's
Hide
she
nor
doing?
hair. Is she like Phoebe Cates, where it's like I'm with a nice actor and I kind of want to just do my thing
Or
as a.
she could be directing or.
Is she?
Max Bad, a big Ally McBeal fan?
Well, they looked that up. Jake Tapper tweeted that Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was the worst Spielberg movie. Forgetting, of course, that the abortion known as the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull existed.
Wait, that was the worst?
Oh, that's the
Temple of Doom?
That's what Jake Tapper said. He's
come
an
on.
idiot. But the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, it's Indiana Jones 4, the most recent one. Abortion of the film.
I think the last one I saw was The Last Crusade.
So what are we?
whatever.
We have high hopes here for a big comeback, Brian.
In as much as I hope everyone realizes what the mistake was of the last film, they're trying to rewrite history and try to end on a high note. Yes, I hope that cooler heads prevail because the last one was a disaster.
Well, but like I said, what I want, and I think what a lot of fans want, is a sequel to the first Indiana Jones. We're not getting that, right? That's not what the fifth installment is.
Meaning
it's not a sequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark, like specifically that story.
As much as it's the same character many years on.
He's married to Callista in 2010. Let me make this perfect metaphor that has to do with automobiles. Shall I? Mm-hmm. These big tentpole franchises, they go along the same direction as iconic cars.
Okay.
So somebody comes up with the Ford Mustang in 1964 and everyone loves it and it's perfect. You know what I mean? It's simple, something we haven't seen before, but effective and functional and all the good things that one of those first run movies is. And then at some point they go, we got a real franchise here. We got this name Mustang. And we're going to kick it up a notch. We're going to save some money too. And they start coming up with like the Mustang 2 and the Mustang Cobra 2 and stuff. And it becomes a parody, becomes a joke.
Right.
Like you look at an old, and then you'd say to someone, well,
like a 1990 Mustang?
Yeah, or
It's the
even
ugliest thing
80s
ever.
or something, or 70s.
Right.
Even like you'd go, would you like, if you said to any car guy, would you like a 1965 Mustang? They go, boy, would I? And you'd go, you like a 1978 Mustang? They go, get the fuck out of here. It's just such a joke. Right? So then, but at some point they go, you know what? Let's resurrect the name.
Right.
Let's get
New
back,
Coke.
get back to basics.
Coke
Bring
classic.
it back.
Reclaim our soul.
Reclaim our soul, and eventually the Mustang is a good car again, and the Corvette, and all these sort of big
Punchlines.
franchises got back to
Right.
their basics. And I feel like movies kind of do. They do that, they spin out, they become cartoons, and at some point they go, we got to reel it in. We got to get back to the basics, and hopefully they have done that.
God willing.
I forgot. I read it quickly, but there's a new woke problem with Indiana Jones. I saw a quick article. You know what I'm going to say?
Yeah. Well, I have a
kid?
suspicion.
Ryan, what do you think it
Well,
is?
Marion was implied that she was very young when they were.
They've
in the
come
first
out to
movie.
say Indiana Jones is not a pedophile because in that little tete-a-tete they have, that little argument, she, when her father was mad at him for the professor, dating her, and she goes, I was a child. And now what? That's a thing. Was it 30-year-old movie? 40-year-old
81.
movie?
80, well, exactly,
Wow.
40.
Yeah, so that's a thing now. Guess what other movie's being remade, speaking of cars? The Stephen King novel Christine is getting another movie adaptation. Star Trek Discovery creator Brian Fuller, who's also writing the script, is attached to make the feature directing debut. The story, a haunted 1958 Plymouth Fury was made into a movie in 1983 with director John Carpenter.
Fury Road.
That was like a big deal, that movie, but I never really got it.
The car that killed.
And it's also, it took so little to impress the moviegoers back then. Like, you just need the scene where the chick was like standing in front of the garage door, and then the car pulled up and stopped at night, and then rev the engine and flash the high beams. And like, oh, not a lot going on. Please, no one remake Cujo.
That was my next question.
It's a fucking Saint Bernard.
He had rabies.
Actually, that's funny. On the film, what we did, movies that need to be remade, Cujo was on my list.
Oh, no.
They had to cut around the dog so much. It was so awkward because they couldn't have the dog attacking someone.
Frothing.
It was very stilted. It's like now a CGI, like how they did I Am Legend with the dogs. Like, you can have that dog fuck someone up.
But all it is a rabid dog.
Yeah, but it's terrifying.
It's not like haunted or anything.
He's trying to get in the car.
I know. I remember that.
That's funny you mentioned the car thing with the lights and the honking. It's all in the execution, because Duel by Steven Spielberg, where all there is honking and lights in a car, is terrifying. Not terrifying, suspenseful.
Yeah.
And then this fucking Christine movie is nonsense.
It's a great Dennis Weaver.
Well, one more.
McCloud.
Ooh.
He rode a horse into New York City.
And?
He was like, they used to love all these sort of fish out of water things, like McCloud. He was like a sheriff rancher from Wyoming, and next thing you know, he showed up at the big city, and he's got his own
Dundee.
Yeah, his own breed of justice. Yeah, McCloud was Crocodile Dundee before Crocodile Dundee. Although Dennis Weaver, he had some range. He was also
Dennis Weaver.
Dennis Weaver was McCloud. Dennis Weaver also was the game warden in Florida for Gentle Ben. Gentle Ben was the Cujo of his time.
Okay.
Kid by the name of Clint Howard.
I've
Ron
heard of
Howard's,
him. That's right.
Older brother stars as the kids who lived in Florida and had a giant bear and a fan boat. Oh, my God. I was sitting in North Hollywood rotting away in this piece of shit house, staring at this guy with a fan boat and a bear in Florida. I was like,
oh, what I wouldn't give.
They put the bear on the deck of the fan boat.
Okay.
And they show him just going along the Everglades. And I was like, asphalt everywhere, black and white TV. There was no nature, flora, fauna.
No.
I was like, oh, the Everglades.
Sweet freedom.
Find the beginning of Gentle Ben. You're going to see a bear on a fan boat going through the Everglades.
It's going to knock your socks
with
off.
Clint Howard on that bad boy and Dennis Weaver piloting that thing. It's the greatest. I can't wait. Going to be the greatest.
When you're done with that, find the entirety of Duel.
Look at that.
Oh, that
you got a
seems-
bear and a fan boat. I was sitting there in North Hollywood. There was a fucking dumpster and a hi-ho market up the street. And, Clint Howard's got his little bear cubs.
Hasn't changed a bit.
Here comes Gentle Ben.
Was it a movie or a TV show?
A TV show. Starred Gentle Ben.
Huh.
Who had to be put down after mauling one of his owners.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no, I don't know what happened to Gentle Ben, but he was on a fan boat.
Yeah,
they
that's
put the
freedom.
bear on the front of the boat, and they're hauled ass through the Everglades.
That's good
And I was like,
living.
oh, man. That's fresh air, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Adventure. Add one more car story because these are always crazy. A team has created a life-size Lamborghini Scion out of Legos. I'll show you a picture. It took 15 people 8,600 hours to create a car using 400,000 pieces.
That's not an Huracan. It's a Scion. It must be the new supercar or something.
It weighs over 4,800 pounds, which is almost 1,000 pounds more than the actual driving Scion. They said it's a Scion. Wait, look at the inside. The inside is realistic.
What you can do when you're not getting laid.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
The mind knows no bounds, and neither do the loins.
Anything more powerful than a bored nerd.
Right.
Yeah.
The loins only know bounds.
Right. Yeah, a lot of boundaries on the loins, but the mind shall go on into outer
Roam
space.
free, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. You guys, you haven't gotten into that. You guys have not gotten into the Lego world with your kids yet?
I have been to Legoland, and it is very impressive, all that
No,
stuff.
I'm talking about the stupid fucking games everyone gets you.
Oh.
No.
Well,
So
what do you mean the games?
Well, what'll happen
The
is
elaborate sets.
people will
Yeah,
start
we have
getting
all
you.
that shit.
People will get you presents, and
Oh,
the
we have all that
presents will be like, "This is the space shuttle,
Yes.
along with the launching pad, along with Cape Canaveral," and then you open up at 7,000 pieces, just all loose in a bag. And then at some point you get the instructions out that are English and Mandarin, and you're like, take part A, B, and then attach to B75. And it's like, you're just looking at it going, are you fucking kidding me? There's no way we're going to. And then you step on the Legos.
Of course. That's
and then
the worst
your kid's
part.
pissed that you don't quit your job and dedicate your life full time to building Cape Canaveral out of Lego.
That's true, but we're lucky, and you better look out because someone's coming for you. I told you the little one wants to build things and tell jokes, he says, for a living. We'll happily buy him those overpriced Lego sets because he builds them alone.
Oh, if he builds them, then that's...
He loves it, and it's quiet in the
That's
house
fine.
for an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love those.
I don't want to be a one-upper, but I have successfully kept Tessa away from the physical Legos, but she loves the Lego movie. I got her into the Lego movie.
Lego movie's great.
So
good.
great.
All right, let's bring her home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
I'm yo daddy.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
We get the truck tire changed there, Dawson.
Yeah, the guy who did our internet changed my truck tire while we were doing the show.
He's a hero.
I ran out there and gave him a 20, and he wouldn't take it. He's like, yo, pay it forward. I said, no, I'm buying you lunch.
is
No,
paying it
pay it forward. I
forward.
said, no, you're taking the money. And we went back and forth like 4 or 5 times, and finally you realized I wasn't going to go anywhere, so we took the money.
Smart. He also yesterday said, he goes, this is a really good show. And I was like, well, thank you. Like, I thought he was like a fan.
That's
He's
how
like,
we get listeners.
he goes, I've been listening, and this is a great show. So we have to have this guy back more often.
I tried to find a shirt for him in the back, but he's a big fella.
No.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
I couldn't find one that was going to fit him.
Hey, not fat, just a big
Yeah.
He's a
dude.
big fella.
Big, gentle Ben.
All right, we're on the boat of that fan, the deck of the
pretty
fan
awesome.
boat. With it was Weaver on that alone with the bear? Or do you have the
I
kid?
saw someone else on
Yeah.
The kid was on that too.
Clint?
PETA would not have allowed that.
I would watch that shit, and then I would watch Flipper.
Oh, faster than lightning.
Flipper was the family that lived in Florida too,
Right.
but they'd be in the water with their pet dolphin.
You
And I
must
was
have
like,
loved the Everglades.
I couldn't get a fucking stray dog out of my parents, and these guys are hanging around with a bear and a dolphin.
Yeah.
And I got to sit and watch this charade
In
on
Gentle
my,
Ben,
on my
the,
stepdad's bed.
in
Because
Gentle
that's where
Ben,
he slept. In
that
that fucking
bear-
den on a sofa. Ugh. No air conditioning. Huh?
the bear in
hell
Gentle
yeah.
Ben on the fan boat. The bear that they use in the show is declawed and detoothed.
Oh, no, that is horrible.
PETA's outraged.
You couldn't really do that these days.
Detoothed.
You're not.
Oh.
You can't even declaw cats anymore.
That's a bad
illegal.
draw as a dentist. Hey, here's your job. Shouldn't we sedate him? I
You'll
don't
be
know.
fine.
Do what you got to do.
Shel Silverstein shit.
Wow, that's fucked up.
And did Flipper still have a blowhole, or they can remove that too?
I think patch that down.
Cork that shit up. Find the beginning of Flipper, and then you'll just know how miserable my childhood was. I just
And that
sit
show
and
kinda-
watch this.
That had a good theme song, but a shitty show, really.
I know it was all just underwater shots of the dolphin,
Oh,
but just imagine, once a year we'd get out to the Santa Monica Bay and wade through the shit. This
Right.
is was Florida. The
Oh,
water
crystal
was
clear.
so crystal clear, and they were jumping in, and they had their buddy was a dolphin who helped them.
You
Like-
spent somewhere between 30 and 60 seconds bemoaning how terrible the 70s were yesterday. The clothes, the fashions, the everything, the cars, and here we are.
This was the 60s.
Oh,
I watched the
sorry.
reruns in the 70s.
My bad.
Please. Look at that. Underwater. They have a dolphin friend.
Breaching.
The
and
water's
playing.
clear. He's looking. He eyeballed. He winked at the camera. The kids, there were like kids who got to hang around. Family intact, very loving.
No one is smarter than he.
Dad was the game warden.
Oh,
True.
Luke. Looks like River Phoenix.
Kids were they're good-looking kids hanging out. And Flipper would, tell him when there was trouble.
Lassie.
Or then
Underwater Lassie.
He'd have to bust smugglers and stuff like that. You
So
know,
what
he could
hor-
defuse a mine.
Of course.
You know?
What horrors befell the actor playing Flipper?
Oh yeah, he must have Flipper. I wonder when Flipper died. The actor playing
What is
Flipper.
The dolphin.
The
played
dolphin.
Flipper.
Life
yeah.
expectancy of a dolphin.
I don't know. I think.
I fucking know. I have no idea.
Well, they rate people. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're jerks.
Wow. Gentle Ben, the bear, was in a Paul Newman movie.
Whoa.
The Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean. He was the bear.
Have you ever heard of that?
What do you
I've
play?
heard of the movie. We played Roy or Bean. All right, let me tell you about LifeLock. Celebrate getting your COVID-19 vaccine, but don't post your vaccine card on social media. It contains personal info like your name and your birth date. Criminals could use and steal your identity. It's important to understand how cybercrime and identity theft are affecting our lives. Every day, we put our info at risk on the internet. In an instant, cyber criminals could harm your finances, credit, and your reputation. Good thing there's LifeLock. LifeLock helps detect a wide range of identity threats, like your social security number for sale on the dark web. If they detect your info's potentially been compromised, they'll send you an alert, and you'll have access to a dedicated restoration specialist. Right, Dawson?
No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but you can keep what's yours with LifeLock by Norton. Join now and save up to 25% off your first year by using promo code Adam. Call 1-800-LifeLock or head to lifelock.com and use promo code Adam for 25% off.
I told you guys a million years ago that Ivan Trowers, I think it's how we'd say his name, was a Hungarian. Ivan Trowers or something. He was a Hungarian immigrant who did the flipper and the gentleman. He did like the nature. That was his thing, the Everglades and the cameras underwater and all that kind of stuff. And one of the guys my grandfather met when he came here was Ivan, because they had a little network of Hungarians that they would... Imagine a quaint time when there was like a community, like AOC wasn't going like, what's the government going to help it? It's like you'd show up and you go, there's some other Hungarian guys and they'll help you. Yep. They'll pass the hat. They'll give you a little stipend and they'll help you get jobs in the industry. And they kind of band together and they helped each other out. There's a little group of like Hungarian writers in the 40s. I know. Flipper was played by 5 dolphins?
Whoa!
Come on. And what? God damn, you're ruining everything for me.
Oh, I'm going to make it even worse. The main dolphin, Kathy, died by suicide.
What?
Ate a bullet.
What does that mean?
Pressure got to her.
I guess it's a thing. Dolphins commit suicide. And
Did
they
she
purposely just drown them.
bang
Gina.
herself against the wall?
Gina, she aged out of the industry.
That's right.
Couldn't be rules.
They started showing her in high def and she got depressed.
But yeah, the trainer said she killed herself due to broken heart.
God.
What broken heart?
Yeah.
She had a broken heart?
Yeah.
Her dolphin mate died or something like that?
No,
That
literally
has
heart
happened.
bones of the heart.
There's another story about a dolphin that was used in a scientific experiment, killed itself after being separated from its human experimenter with whom it had become sexually infatuated.
Oh.
Wow. See, they're very deviant. Other dolphins will withhold food from female dolphins in a pod until she has sex with them.
That works, by the way.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, we'll talk more about this tomorrow because I feel like Flipper killing himself or herself. That's
Big deal.
Yeah.
I'm yo daddy.
AJ should do that on Hollywood Stories.
Take the stand. All right. Dan Abrams Court Cam presents Under Oath. Watch that on A&E. And until next time, it's Adam Carolla, Dan Abrams, Gina Grad, and Bald Brian saying mahalo. That guy's not fit to carry my jock.